Hey guys, what's up? In today's video, I'm going to share a children's wear collection that I designed for my fashion design portfolio. And like always, go ahead and use this video as a guide for what your own fashion design portfolio needs to look like. So yeah, here's the plan for today. We're designing a girls' wear capsule collection ages 6 to 10 for SS23. We're creating 6 to 7 garments for the potential theme of a summer vacation. And here are the contents of the portfolio project. We start with the concept document, the ideation board, the graphics board, a range board, flat sketches, and a tech pack. So let's head over to Adobe Illustrator and get started with step 1. But before we begin, let me explain what a concept is. Now, a concept is an ultra creative document that explains what trends or phenomenon you took inspiration from and what design direction your range is going to take in terms of colors and fabrics and graphics and silhouettes, etc. But wait, that sounds like a mood board, right? The thing is, the word concept is often interchangeably used with the word mood board. But I would say that a concept is a very detailed version of a mood board. It is composed of a few pages. For example, one page detailing the fabrics that you are going to use, one page detailing colors, another for shapes, another for typography, trims, branding, etc. A concept can be super detailed if you are working on large collections, or it can be just a few pages if you are working on a capsule collection. Since I'm creating just 6 to 7 garments for this project, I'm going to keep my concept just 4 pages long and divide it into sections like this. 1 page each for color, graphics, silhouettes, and fabrics. Now that the layout planning of my concept is done, let's get started with the actual work. So all collections begin with trend research. I'm going to head over to Pinterest to find some awesome pictures and designs and clothes based on a summer vacation. I'm also going to check fashion forecasting websites like WGSN, runway showcasing websites like Vogue, etc. Here is a list of common websites where you can pick up some awesome trends and pictures for your boards. And these are the pictures that I finally have. Now, one of the benefits from doing trend research is that you might get some new ideas from the pictures that you find. For instance, I started with a summer vacation theme, right? But in these pictures, I'm seeing a lot of fun animal artworks. Like this girl's dress, for example. She's got a unicorn on it. And look at this one. It has a blue color cat. And what even is this? Some kind of funky turtle. So adding in these cute animals to my summer vacation idea suddenly sounds amazing to me. So I'm going to modify my theme to be a summer vacation with pets. Based on this, I also thought of a name for my collection. How about a furry flurry? Okay, let's go with that. Now I have all the pictures that I need for creating the 4 pages in my concept. And I can actually straight away start with laying out my pictures on these 4 pages. A few for colors, a few for fabrics, etc. But instead, I'm gonna go do a bit of research on the concept layout that I can follow. Remember that I mentioned that the concept document is an extremely creative file? So I really want to make sure that these 4 pages have an awesome layout. But how do I get inspiration for this? I'm going to go back to Pinterest and type something like this: fun summer poster layout. And in the process, I came across this awesome poster that looks so summery and matchy-matchy with the theme that I have in my mind. So I'm going to keep staring at this and get ideas for my concept layout. So with that said, let's begin with actually creating page 1, which is dedicated to the colors of our range, and therefore start by putting together a color palette. Now you can find a ready color palette that you like anywhere online. Pinterest itself has a lot of beautiful palette examples, which you can find if you simply type summer color palette in the Pinterest search bar. The official way of finding a palette, however, if you are working for a company or if you are freelancing, is to go to a trend forecasting website like maybe WGSN and find the forecasted colors for SS23, because these websites will literally tell you what colors are predicted to do well in SS23 after having done some hardcore research at their end. And you will want to use that kind of verified prediction for your client. You will also need a Pantone book with you to confirm these colors. But since this project is an unofficial one, I'm going to simply pick colors from the pictures that I found here. If you find a nice picture of a dress like this, where the multiple colors present are perfectly fitting in with each other, then just create a palette with those colors. So I'm going to use the eyedropper tool on Illustrator to pick out these colors and create my palette. Also, since these colors are so bright, I'm going to mainly use them for artworks or print colors. And for that reason, let me also pick out a lighter, duller color for my base fabrics. Something to sit underneath these loud print colors. And I think this pink shade will do just fine. And our palette is now ready. Now, on a new artboard, let me slowly sneak away from the screen because I'm going to go play some music. And let's have some fun putting together the 4 concept pages. Oh, and remember to use this poster for layout ideas. Now most of the layout is done, but I am now adding a write-up, which is an important part of the concept. This is where I get to explain the rationale behind the colors I chose. For instance, I'm saying that the colors that I have chosen are unapologetic and loud. Pause here to read the full write-up in detail. And you guys can see this white space in the side? That is for me to add some movement to this document. So I'm going to add this reel of pictures depicting the various colors and how they can be used. Now, how did I do this? I went over to Adobe Premiere Pro and set this reel in motion. But why did I do this? Because a concept needs to be an extremely creative document. If you guys want to know the exact steps that I undertook in Premiere Pro, let me know in the comments below because that will take a whole other video to explain. But for now, this is my page 1 on colors. Now let's go to page 2 of the concept, which needs to look at graphics. So enjoy this time lapse. And this is done. For the empty space on the side, I'm gonna add some movement again. And there you go. It's a cute kid with a cute corgi. I've also designed a ticket that kinda jiggles. My write-up, on the other hand, talks about how my graphics are gonna focus on furry animals. And with that, page 2 is done. Now page 3 is for the silhouettes. So let's run the time lapse. And page 3 is done. Here, I'm highlighting the silhouettes I plan to prioritize in my collection, namely baggy fits, one pieces, and A-lines. And finally, let's get to page 4 of the concept, which is based on fabrics. And that is the last page of my concept, guys. On the left is a video emphasizing the fabric properties I wish to work with. I've attached pictures of fabric swatches as well, and I'm also taking this chance to talk about print techniques like screen printing and sublimation in my write-up. So with that, guys, our concept is done. So now that you guys have understood how I went about creating these 4 pages, let me also show you a cover page that I created for the concept, which basically introduces the viewer to my vacation and furries theme. Following the cover page is also an index page which breaks down what the viewer can expect in each of the 4 concept pages. So with that, guys, our concept is done. If I have to run it all together, it looks like this. So step 1 in our portfolio project is done. Let's now move on to step 2, which is product ideation. Now from the concept that we created, we know that the range is going to be graphic heavy. The silhouettes are a bit on the simpler side, the fabrics are simple, but the main elements are the graphics. So that is where I'm going to start. I'm beginning by testing out a few animal drawings. I got onto a white A3 sheet of paper and I began drawing out sketches of dogs and cats. First in pencil and then the final outlines in a black pen. This is what the initial draft looks like. I then took a photo of it on my phone, sent it to my laptop and opened it in Adobe Illustrator. I then began digitalizing them, mainly using my pen tool in the process. In this manner, I ended up with my graphic of dogs and cats. Also, here is a tip. If you guys are having trouble drawing anything, then you can always use a reference image that you found online, which is what I do almost every time. So I'm going to keep this as my main graphic for this collection. And because of that, my ideation board is going to look like this. It's just a board with clips showing the process taken to achieve these graphics. Now, what is step 3 in our portfolio project? The graphics board, which is basically a collection of every graphic that I am going to make. Now, these might be the final graphics for now, but I will be further modifying them to suit the different garments in the range. So once the range board itself is done, let's come back and create step number 3. For now, let's move to step number 4, my favorite part, the range board. So I have a ready girls croquis here, which I drew. If you guys want to know how I drew this, let me know in the comments below. But I should tell you that I drew it using the same techniques that I taught you in this video. Now back to the range. The first garment idea I had is a playsuit cum dungarees outer with an inner top. So let's draw that out on the croquis with the pen tool. And taking inspiration from all the summer skies and the scalloped cloud imagery in the concept, I'm going to give the playsuit scalloped edges. I'm then drawing the inner top. Now for artworks, I'm adding stripes to the playsuit, followed by a polka dotted AOP for the top. I'm also giving the top ruffled AOP sleeves. Now let's create a new artboard to work on our main artwork, the furries. Let's bring them over and I'm going to use just these 5 for the garment and place them like this. I'm removing the inner whites of the artworks so that the stripes below can come through, and this is because I just want the artwork to look more abstract and fun. And with that, garment number 1 is ready, so let's move to garment number 2. I have my croquis in a different pose this time, and the garment idea is a 2-piece AOP set. So let's draw that out. Giving the top bows at the top of the shoulder straps. And the skirt is a simple mini skirt with a waistband. On a new artboard, I've brought over my furries artwork again, and I'm going to make one more artboard where I can create something new and fun with my furries. And the idea is to create stamps, which fits in with all the vacation and adventure and travel ideas in the concept. Except I'm going to put my furries on the stamps. I'm additionally drawing out flowers and adding those on the stamps as well. And this is what they finally look like, so let's make them into an all-over pattern. Let's then take the AOP over to add it to our 2-piece set. And this is what the final garment looks like. Let's move to garment number 3, which is going to be a shirt dress. But I'm going to skip the furries artwork this time and I'm going to use other elements from my concept. So let's see how that goes. The dress has a collar and at the sides are panels of pressed pleats. Now for the artwork. And this is what the final dress looks like. Garment number 4 is a halter AOP dress, so let's draw that out. For the artwork, remember the flowers that I previously created? I'm going to add them like a flower crown to my furries' heads. And this is what one looks like, and this is what they all look like. Before making this into an AOP, let's also fill up the spaces and gaps with more flowers and leaves. And after making it an AOP, it looks like this. I'm also adding a multicolored checkered pattern at the back. Let's go add it to the dress. And this is what garment 4 looks like. So I think that you guys are getting a hang of things now. So let me play the creation of garment 5, 6 and 7 like a time lapse. Garment 5 is an AOP jumpsuit, so let's go. Garment 5 is now done. Garment 6 is a strappy dress with a t-shirt inner, so let's begin. And finally, garment number 7 is an AOP panelled dress. Now the design of all 7 garments are done, guys. Let's put them all together on a single board. And you know what? I'm also going to give them some cute concept appropriate shoes. Yup, like that. Now there is one last step. I'm going to open this range in Photoshop and add a bit of shading to it, just to give it a more realistic touch. Now there are many ways to shade on Photoshop, guys. I personally like to use my paintbrush tool in a soft round brush setting. Then select a color that is a dark version of my fabric's base color. In this case, I'm using a dark pinkish shade. Then go ahead and add your shadows like this. Similarly, I'm going to go ahead and add shadows for all my garments. Your range is now done. I'm going to save it and then go back and open it on Illustrator. End the range design by giving it a cute background. Add some movement to this board as well. And with that, the range design is done. Which means that I can now put together step 3 of my portfolio project, which is the graphic board. And it looks like this, which is basically a collection of every graphic that I have made so far. And of course, this is step 4, which is our range board. Now let's move to step 5 in our portfolio, which is the flat sketches. Now, flat sketches are the most common type of sketches that you will be doing when you start working as a fashion designer. So make sure to include them in your portfolio so that the recruiter can see that you already know how to do the job of a fashion designer. This is the format that I am following. A fun background like usual, my colored garment on the left-hand side, and the flat sketches front and back at the center. I'm also going to add the graphic that I have used on the right, but that is optional. And additionally, the Pantone swatches of the base fabric, a close-up of any minor prints, and that's it. In the same way, I have gone on to create the flat sketch pages for all the garments in my range. So step number 5 in our contents for this project is done. And finally, we have step number 6, which is to create a tech sheet. Now, it is recommended to take any one garment in the range that you designed and create a tech sheet for it, just so that the recruiter can see that you know how to make a tech pack, which is again a very common fashion designer job. So I'm going to just randomly pick this garment and tech pack it like so. Begin by placing your flat sketches on the page, then adding a column at the top that briefly states all the necessary details like style number, concept name, type of fabric, artwork, print technique, etc. Also list Pantones at the bottom and the graphic that you are using here. Then guys, list all construction details in the form of labels, measurements. Also add any close-ups of areas that might be too small for the manufacturer to catch. Show as much as you can because this is your chance to show the recruiter that when it comes to actually creating the garment, you know exactly what has to be done. And with that, we complete all 6 pages of our portfolio project. So I hope this was useful, guys. The entire project is up on Behance if you want to check it out or download it or anything. The link is in my description for the same. So thank you so much for watching and I will see you next week.